Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the N Asphalt Podcast page. Alex Wanders is not with us tonight. Instead, we have the one, the only, young gun, Jarrett Vandenberg in the house.
Thanks for having me.
We are so excited. Alrighty, so let's dive right into this. So, like I said, we got Jarrett Vandenberg with us. So, Jarrett, why don't you go ahead, tell us who you are, tell us about yourself, what you race, where you normally race at, and we'll start there.
I'm Jarrett Vandenberg, driver of the 22V Sport Mod, hometown Oskaloosa, Iowa, home track Southern Iowa Speedway.
Awesome.
Pretty much race all over Iowa.
Awesome, yeah, you do. Jarrett is the next and up-and-coming Vandenberg. If you can remember back, even before I was born, we had John Vandenberg. His father raced. Only man to qualify in the 360 Nationals.
No, just the 410 and
410
the late model.
And the late model. Only man to do that in history. And then his brother Carter Vandenberg, who I know is watching, he raced A-Mods, and now he's back to Sport Mods. So they're in the same class. So it's a full family affair at the track. So, Jarrett, let's talk about your start in racing. I know you did go-karts growing up. So if you want to start there, and let's catch up to present-day Jarrett Vandenberg racing.
Yep, I raced go-karts for about 2-3 years. Started when I was like 11, 12. Just raced at the Newton Kart Club. Got pretty competitive, and then I got my start with Sport Mods last year, which my third race didn't end so well, got upside down, but now here I am today racing.
Yeah, Jarrett has been more sheet metal in the last year and a half than most guys will in their whole life. No, I'm kidding. He's a really good racer. He's up and coming. So Jarrett, your dad raced for a lot of years. Your brother is racing now too. Obviously, the guys are in the same class. You feel like there's any pressure trying to live up to the Vandenberg name or anything like that?
Yeah, there can be pressure. Like Carter on Friday night at CJ, he was like, "Oh man, it's gonna suck to start behind Jarrett." Blah blah blah. Well, that didn't stop me. I should have got the win there, and the pressure really is high, when you're racing against family members, because, I got my cousin, Bray, and racing in the same class, and then Dylan. It makes it a lot more, pressure is higher, than racing somebody you don't really know.
So for the people that don't know this out there, his grandfather is Jimmy Carter, and so he's related to Braden Carter, Caden Carter. He's also related to Dylan Van Dyke. And so you literally have four, and his brother himself, Braden and Dylan, all in the same class. And then Caden runs A-Mods and stock cars. So, this family is a dirt racing family. So, Jarrett, do you think that helped you when you transitioned into a sport mod, being around a family that races as much as they do? Do you think that was a little easier for you?
Yeah, with the setup and advice on the track, it helped me a lot becoming, getting started and all that. But other than that, it's kind of more challenging because you got to beat the guy and you see him all the time. So it's more like, I guess you got something to talk about. But other than that, yeah, the competition's a lot harder and racing's a lot more harder, I feel like.
So let's talk about last year. You had a incident at the Southern Iowa Speedway. Car kind of just went into the wall, it seemed. What happened there?
Well, I can't remember what place I was around. I think 4th or 5th, and I got into Colton Lizzie there on the top and just sent me straight into the wall and got upside down, destroyed the car. And then about a month later, I got this new car I got now, and ended up coming back after a month after the wreck and ended up, I think, 6th. So pretty good turnaround, I think.
I'd say that's not bad. So you went to Eldon the other night, raced. You got 4th.
No, I ended up 6th at Eldon.
Oh, 6th.
I ended up 4th at Columbus Junction.
That's right, because you were leading that race.
Yep.
And, that's part of it, though. You win some, you lose some. So what was going through your head at CJ when you had the lead there?
Well, when I was leading it, just by myself, they said I was perfect, hitting my marks every lap. late caution comes out, I think 4 to go, and I was kind of like judging on where to run, where not to run, and I kind of got tight on the top, and that's what pretty much that's how they got around me. And that's.
So you're going to tell us that you prefer the top line at any track you go to, or are you more of a bottom feeder?
Right now, I'm more of a top kind of guy. I like to, throw it in there and look for the cushion, kind of look for the moisture. My car, I don't know what, right now I just can't really get it to turn in the center of the corner, so the bottom's just kind of struggling for me right now. But
Sure. So going back, I have some results here from CJ. We'll go through those right now. I have the top 4 in each class. A-Mods, we had Andrew Schroeder winning. Caden Carter got second. I don't know his first name. Marloff is his last name, though. He got third, and M. Bowman got fourth. Stock cars, Nathan Wood picked up the win. Johnny Spa in second. Jason C. in third, and A. Bell in fourth. Sport mods, we had Austin Paul, who got second. Shane Paris won. So congrats to Shane. You're a great guy. Dylan Van White got third, and in fourth you had old JVB here. So those are some of our results from Columbus Junction. And then going back to Wednesday night at Oski, man, talk about some good racing there. Track really wasn't in that bad a shape. Everyone said it was pretty bad. Yeah, it got dry slick. That happens, though. I don't think people realize that there's nothing anyone can do about it at that point. In the sport mods, we had Braden Carter picking up the win. Logan Anderson got second. Carter Vandenberg picked up third. Colton Lizzie fourth. And Blaine Webster got fifth. Hobby stocks, we had Dustin Griffiths winning. Brad Stevens second. Mike Hughes third. Clint Nelson fourth. Christian Huffman got fifth. Stock cars, we had Scott Dickey picking up a win. We had Jason C. in second. Caden Carter in third. Derek Agee in fourth. And Nathan Woods in fifth. In sport comebacks, we had Brandon Allison picking up a win. I called that one. I actually called something. Brandon Allison picked up the win. Josh Mode got second. Trent Orwig third. James Herring fourth. And Billy King got fifth. So, I mean, right there, what do you think about running the Southern Iowa Speedway, Jarrett? Do you think that's one of the more challenging tracks you race because of the size of the track compared to some of the other ones? I mean, what do you think the biggest challenges at Oskaloosa are for you?
I believe, the starting spot's a huge thing at Southern Iowa Speedway. You're racing against really good guys, and, if you start up front, most of the time you get, pretty good finish there, but I don't know, it just, when it goes green to checkered, it's really hard to pass, so I don't know, it just depends on cautions and all that.
So we know you go up to Hamilton County Speedway, Webster City quite a bit. What do you think about that track?
That track's actually really fun, but the USRA cars, I feel like they're so much better than the IMCA. They can run sliders for the B-mods, quick changes and all that. American racers and us IMCA cars, we're pretty much standard 9-inch Ford rear ends, so it's really harder to compete, but when you get top 3, top 5, it really, pat on the back to an IMCA guy.
Yeah, definitely. That's an awesome track. Todd Staley, shout out to you. I have some results from there. We'll start with the stock car. We had Blake Adams winning, Josh Zeman in second, Justin Aids in third. Gary Bass picked up fourth, and Reed Keller picked up fifth place. Modifieds, we had Jeff Adams, Ethan Dotson, Jacob Murray, Christopher Elliott, and Chase Ellingson. And then B-mods, we had Doug Smith, Ty Griffiths, Jason Bass, who has ran at Oskaloosa, Cole Denner, and Jared Timmerman. And then hobby stocks, picking up the W, my good friend Jamie Songer. Congrats to Jamie. I know that the hobby stock class there is really, really competitive. Eric Stanton wins there a lot, and he is just a phenomenal racer. So congrats to Jamie. Second went to Bryce Summerfield. Scott Doble picked up third. Eric Stanton got fourth. And Roger Hompt got fifth there. So, Jarrett, talking about sport mod racing, what's the next step for you? Do you want to stay in sport mods, Or are you wanting to move to a different class eventually and follow your dad's footsteps into sprint cars?
Yeah, if the opportunity was there, I'd probably take it. But as of right now, I just need laps and good support behind me to get some wins in the sport mod before I go anywhere. So
Right. So you do want to potentially move up and go to sprint cars. Could you see yourself doing that someday?
someday, later down the road, I need to pick up some more wins in the sport mod. But who knows what the future holds?
Sure. Were you able to make it to Knoxville on Saturday night? Did you go to Knoxville or were you racing?
Last Saturday I was there, yes.
Okay. What did you think about that show for the fans?
Yeah,
From the fan perspective.
It was pretty interesting night, to say the least. But yeah, I think it was pretty good.
Good. Yeah, I think Knoxville just has an
Someday,
excellent track.
Later down the road, I need to pick up
And
some more wins
obviously they raced there the other night. They had a great field of cars, again as normal. 410s, we had Brian Brown. That's his 47th win at Knoxville, so hats off to Brian. Terry McCarroll got second. Linton Jeffrey got third. Austin McCarroll fourth. And Matt Jewell rounded out the top 5 in 410s. 360, Carson McCarroll picking up the W. I'm so happy for that kid. And he held off Clint Garner, Matt Morrow, Ryan Giles, and Thomas Kennedy. That's who rounded out the top 5. So hats off to Carson McCarroll. We know that Jarrett is friends with the McCarrolls, so what do you think about Carson picking up that win against a strong field of 360s there?
Yeah, that's pretty good accomplishment, Just kind of, he wasn't been racing as competitive as he is now, so I think it's kind of a weight lifted off his shoulders, I bet.
Yeah, I'd say so. And then pro sprints, he had Matthew Stelzer, Mike Ayers, Russ Hall, Chris Walraven, and Mike Johnston rounding out the top there. Moving over into the ASCS side of deal. So they raced twice this weekend. They were at State Line and they were at the Outlaw Speedway. So on the 7th, Brock Zierfoss picked up the win. That is his first win with the ASCS Tour, so congrats to you, Brock. If you ever watch this, here's your congrats from us. Corey Eliason picked up P2, Dave Blaney, Gerald McThyler, and Danny Varon rounded out the top 5 there. And then yesterday, they were at State Line, as I stated. Dale Blaney picked up the W. That's his first time since 2016 winning. Aaron Reitzel, who is the points leader with the ASCS, got second. Tony Stewart third. Spencer Basin fourth. And Spencer's teammate, Brock Zierfoss, rounded out the top 5 with the ASCS. And then another racing weekend. We had the MOA series. They went to Lee County Friday night, and Paul Nieheiser picked up the win. Mason Daniel got second. Linton Jeffrey third. The North Bill Nightmare, Bill Baylog picked up fourth, and Jamie Ball rounded out the top 5 there. And then they were at Spoon River the next night, and Paul Nieheiser won again. 2 in a row for him. Steve Short got second. Kyle Shoup got third. Jordan Goldsberry got fourth, and Jim Mahune got 5th. So I'd say Paul picking up 2 wins. Congrats to you, Paul. That's awesome. And now we're going to go into something that I really know that Jarrett likes, the World of Outlaws, the NOS World of Outlaws series. Picking up the win on Friday night at River City Speedway, which is Mark Dobmeyer's home track. We had Logan Schuhart picking up P1, James McFadden in second, and then James's partner, Brad Sweet, picked up third. So 2 Casey Kane cars in the top 3. Donnie Schatz got 4th, and David Gravel got 5th. And then the next night they were at Granite City Speedway. Brad Sweet picked up the W. David Gravel got 2nd. Logan Schuhart 3rd. Darren Pittman 4th. And Brent Marks rounded out the top 5 there. So I'd say overall a pretty good weekend for the World of Outlaw guys and all racing in general. So going back, Jarrett, what was your first race like for you? What was that experience like going to the track for the first time, never being in a race car. Tell us what that's like.
Sport mod or go kart?
Sport mod.
I was kind of nervous, I drove karters around the pits every once in a while, no big deal. But once you get, strapped in, the pressure's on. And after hot laps, I was fine. But, sitting and staging for hot laps, I was pretty nervous. But once we got going, I was pretty good, I was fine.
Sure. So, going back to your first week, from your first race to now, what has changed you as a driver so far? This only being your second year, what do you think has really changed about you from going from that first race to now?
I think being patient and telling what's wrong with the car and what tires to put on and what to do in the shop to make it better for the next race. It all plays a part. And I think when I first started, I had no clue on what tire stagger, what I had to run, make it loose tight and all that. I think now I have a grasp on it, so it's really helped my program, turned it around a lot, and starting to get better at it. So the results will come.
Right. So what do you think the biggest thing is for what's some advice that you would want to give yourself that you know now that you didn't know when you started racing? So if you could go back, tell yourself the first time you were in the car, something that you wish you would have known then, what's one piece of advice that you could give Jarrett Vandenberg first in a car?
I'd probably be patient, wait for them to mess up, not, you get in front of them and then you mess up and they get right back around you. That I still do it. I'm not that patient. I need to work on that, but I think being patient and, waiting for the opportunity to, get there. Yep.
Sure. So I don't think people realize the cost of owning a race car. So obviously, you try to get sponsors and things like that. Who are some of your key sponsors? Actually, who are all of your sponsors that we have on the 22V car?
Well, I'd like to thank Ben Stevens Explosives, Sherry and JR Wolver, and Schoenfield Headers, Dynamic Drivelines, JRI Shocks, Hawk Performance Brakes, and pretty much my crew guys, Carrick, my stepbrother, and Dakota, and JR. Without them, I couldn't be going to the track or doing stuff like that and helping the car.
So going behind the scenes a little more, so when you're at a track, what are some of the key changes that you have to go and look at to make? Because I don't think fans, not necessarily all the fans, realize how much work there is behind the scenes. So can you go over some of the things that automatically go to your head when you pull back in from hot laps and your heat race and getting ready for the feature? Can you just go through some of that for us?
Yeah, there's a couple things, like how much fuel to put in the car. It's everything makes a difference, but knowing what to do and what not to do. Like yesterday at Eldon, was picking up dust in the heat race, and then in the main, and the moisture came back up and made everybody tight, and we should have freed the car up, which my bad. I thought we'd be fine for the feature because like I said, we were picking up dust in the heat race, and just simple stuff like that.
How important are tires for you guys? Making sure. What are some of the things you check on your tires to make sure that you're gonna have the right set on the car for that feature event?
Yeah, it's just stagger. Some people like more, some people like less. I like a little bit more, free it up, but I don't know. It just depends on if you want to run a new tire or old tire. It all depends on track conditions too. If like at Oski, we ruined 2 tires just because the track was so dry. Eldon, you can't even tell I even ran them. They look still brand new. So just all depends on track conditions and stuff.
So being a sport mod driver, obviously IMCA rules. What do you think is, if you could go to the head of IMCA and they said, Jarrett Vandenberg, give us one thing that you would change the cars that you think would make it a lot better for all the drivers that are IMCA? What's one thing, if you could change one rule, what would that be?
I'd say the body rolls on a B mod or modified, Like, I think it's kind of ridiculous and, like, what they're checking, they're all that. I think if we went, like, UMP style, like, people just build their own bodies, build it how they want it. There's certain rules they'd have to have, but you could, like, me and my stepdad, we build our own bodies, so, when we have to do what everybody else does, it makes it kind of hard. So if you can just do your own little thing, I think it'd make it look better and be your own little thing.
So what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Because I don't think everyone necessarily understands what you're. So all the bodies are the exact same. So what would you have? What would you want to change about them as far as
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they were all the same, if you can build your own unique thing, it'd be like, oh, that's Jarrett's or that's Carter's or
so
that one.
About like the side panels or the.
Yeah, like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd want to change the body rule.
Yeah.
What do you think about the crate rule? Do you like the crate motors? What do you think their advantages and disadvantages are against a open motor?
No, there's a lot of advantages of running an open motor, but the crate's a pretty good deal, You just change the oil, change the spark plugs, valve springs, So not a whole lot of maintenance on them, but open motor, I don't really know much about them, but I know there's a lot more work than that, so. And the horsepower difference, I feel like there's a lot of difference.
Sure. So, growing up, obviously, watching your dad race, what was that like for you growing up in that environment of having a dad that raced full time?
Yeah, there was, I was still pretty young, I think I was like, I don't even remember, like 9, 10 years old, but yeah, I just remember him always racing and, the stories he tells us now, I sometimes can't believe them, but they're true, so, but yeah, it's hard to believe that he's only one person that's, qualified for the Knoxville Nationals and ran 10th, and then the late model Nationals, I think he ran 15th, the only person to do it, and he's my dad, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's got to be an awesome feeling. So following in his footsteps, so you want to race sprint cars if you have that opportunity. And then would you also want to get into a late model eventually? Is that another one? Or where do you want to see yourself with racing?
Yeah, I think the sprint car deal would be pretty cool, but as it is right now, it's so expensive to even run a 305 at Knoxville. So I feel like the late model deal, just a crate late model, is a little cheaper, and I feel like if you get a start there and then work your way up, I think that you have a better shot than getting into sprint car racing because, there's more. I feel like in late models there's more opportunities to find success than it is in sprint cars.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of late model racing, we had the Dream over the weekend. Who were you really hoping was going to win that deal?
I was rooting for Bobby Pierce, but obviously he didn't.
Yeah, Brandon Shepard ended up winning, and Dale McDougal got second.
By a bumper, yeah.
That had to be one of the greatest finishes I've ever watched. Now, another thing that happened that went viral was the 5th heat race that night.
When it started raining.
And poor Ricky Thornton Jr. I felt so bad for that kid because that was one of the biggest races he's been in. And his car absolutely got destroyed the right rear, it looked like, hitting that wall. It started raining. As soon as they took the green flag down in 1 and 2, it started to rain. Track got super slick, cars everywhere. And it looked like, I don't remember whose car it was, but they went over the nose of Bloomquist when they spun her around there. So we had Brand Shepard winning. Dale McDougal got second. Shane Clanton got third. Chase Juens got fourth, and Tyler Erb got fifth. So good job to all the drivers. My pick was Jonathan Davenport. He still did pretty good. He didn't have too bad of a run, it seemed. Just some really good racing at the Dream. Have some some exciting news to tell everyone. Alex Wanders and I are going to Eldora this year for the highest paying sprint car race, which is the King's Royal. So I am super, super excited. And speaking of Alex, we're going to get Alex on the phone. Real quick, I'm going to message him. I'm calling him. He got to spend the whole weekend in Topeka with his brother and some other friends. They went down to Topeka to the NHRA Nationals. He's going to have some results, tell us about his experience down there. It looks like they just had a ton of fun. So we are going to get Alex Wanders on the phone. Maybe.
What's going on, fellas?
Hello, Alex. How are you, man?
Sorry, man. Oh, doing pretty good. Just headed north, back towards Iowa from Topeka, Kansas. What's going on?
Oh, we're just live here on the podcast. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about your weekend and give us some results?
Oh, well, it was a pretty warm weekend in Kansas. A lot of good racing, a lot of cars, a lot of different classes. Obviously, the NHRA guys took center stage with the two nitro classes. You had the Top Fuel and the funny cars. And Steve Torrance got the win in the Top Fuel class this afternoon. And Robert Height picked up the win in the funny car class. And it's kind of an interesting deal. They had a really bad wreck in what they call the Bromont class, which is a really big cubic inch class. A couple guys had a couple big moments on the racetrack. Thankfully, everybody was okay. All the fans were okay. The drivers were good. So, yeah, it was definitely interesting. What are you guys talking about tonight?
Well, Alex, I had a whole bunch of results here. One I still need to talk about is from the USACs at Lawrenceburg.
I can't believe you worked that hard to get those results.
I know. Can you believe it? Did you hear that Dale Blaney picked up his first win since 2016?
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome.
And Brock Zierfoss picked up his first one at the ASCS.
Have you guys? I haven't seen the show yet tonight, but have you guys talked about that crazy finish at the Dream last night at Eldora?
We just talked about that and the fifth heat race.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting seeing Scott Bloomquist get disqualified, wasn't it?
That was quite a shocker.
All he had to do was eat a Big Mac and a Coke before he went out for the heat race, and he would have passed tag.
You know what? I completely agree with you. What do you think about Paul Nieheiser picking up 2 in a row at the MOA Series? Okay, we lost Alex because he's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, man, I totally forgot about this. So it is Indy Speed Week for the USAC midgets. The last results I have, they were at Lawrenceburg. Chris Wyndham won, Chad Boat got second, Logan Seavey got third, Tanner Thorson fourth, and Cannon McIntosh got fifth. Did you see that nasty wreck that Larson had, Jarrett? What do you think about that?
I actually didn't see that.
You didn't get to see that? Man, if anyone has a chance, you got to check that out. We have Alex calling back in. Apparently, he has been able to find some signals somewhere in Missouri. Alex, you're back.
Is this the Dirt and Asphalt Podcast?
This is. You're back. You're back on.
Oh, all right. I just had we went through a low spot. I think I lost you.
Yeah, you did.
Is the young gun Jarrett Vandenberg in the house with you tonight?
Yes, you do. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask him?
Yeah, how's it feel to finish a race for once?
Jarrett, would you like to go off on that?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've only had 2 DNFs this year.
Well, I heard you had you're almost your first career feature win Friday night at the Columbus Junction.
Alex, we're losing you again. Okay, we lost Alex again. He's having some problem. Oh, look at this. Justin Cox. Shout out to you, my good friend. If anyone doesn't know Justin, he is awesome guy. He races sprint cars out in Cali. And we have a great question here from the one and only father of the man joining me, Jarrett, who we did ask a little bit about this earlier. So, Jarrett, what is it like to race against your brother that won the Boone Nationals?
Well, he's been pretty fast lately, so it's kind of been, challenging, me trying to figure out my car still, but I don't think it's that much pressure, because it's just my brother, we race we ride four-wheelers together, we do a lot of things together, so I don't think the pressure's really that high.
So, let me give you a scenario. Tell me what you would do in this. It's you and your brother, 1 and 2. It is side by side for the lead at I don't know even what race. Let's just say a Wednesday night race at Oski. This is for the lead. You know that you have to slide him for the win, but in sliding him, it could wreck him. What would you do? Do you slide him or do you not?
You better know where the brake pedal is, because I ain't lifting.
There you go. So, Jarrett would slide his brother for picking up the W at the Southern Iowa Speedway. If you had the opportunity to do a King of the Hill with your, Caden, Braden, your brother, and Dylan, do you think you could win a King of the Hill style against them?
I don't know. Caden's been pretty tough, but it all depends on, the night. Like CJ Friday night, I was pretty fast, so I don't know. Maybe that night I could have won, but any other night I just haven't been carrying a lot of speed lately, so it just depends on the night.
So what are some goals for your team this year?
Obviously pick up my first win, but, just the biggest thing is finishing races and running top 3 is my main goal as of right now.
That's awesome. So, Jarrett, when are we going to see your appearance at the Boone Nationals?
Oh, that's one of our goals. If I pick up a win this year, we'll probably be at the Boone Nationals.
Hear that? Anyone, let this kid win, because I want to see him at the Nationals. We got Alex calling back. Let's see if we can get on the phone with Alex. Holy cow. Alex, you're on the Dirt and Asphalt Podcast again.
Yeah, we're back, man. What's going on?
Well, I don't know. What's up with your reception?
What's going on? So I just saw my brother is in the front seat of the car that we're currently traveling in, and
that's awesome.
I heard there was maybe possibly a question asked about what would happen if the two Vandenberg brothers were racing side by side or for the win on the last lap.
Correct.
And I want to get Jarrett's take on that, because I believe he said that he better know where the brake pedal is because he's not lifting.
Jarrett said he would slide his brother for the win at the Southern Iowa Speedway on a Wednesday night show.
I would do it any night of the week. for a win. For a win.
Okay, so Alex would take someone out for a win.
I wouldn't say take him out. I mean,
right.
Well, you're taking that chance when you slide him, so.
Yeah, sorry about losing your call back there, guys. But Jarrett, I just want to hear your perspective on what happened Friday night at CJ. Like you said, you almost got your first win, but it wouldn't have been for a late race restart.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I set sail, I think the 3rd or 4th lap, passed him on the high side, and late caution came out, and I kind of got tight in the center of the corner, and that's all she wrote.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm glad to see you finish up front. You've had a lot of early season struggles with some car issues, and it's really good to see you get a solid run and lead some laps, and I think we all agree that probably later on this year at some point you're going to get your first feature win.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, it just brings a lot of motivation, just especially at Eldon. I was hoping for a win there, but it just didn't happen. But we'll be back.
So, Alex, what did you think about? Did you see the results from Knoxville?
I did.
How do you feel about Carson McCarl holding off Clint Garner, Matt Morrow, Ryan Giles, and Thomas Kennedy?
Oh, I think it's definitely a big win for Carson. I know he's been knocking on the door this year, been close to a couple of big wins, and that I think they're up towards the top of the 360 point standings, so they definitely need the wins and the top 5 finishes to win that championship they're chasing after. Brian Brown in the 410 class, not really a surprise there. Knoxville's kind of his playground, it seems like, in the 410 class. He obviously is very dominant there. He shortchanged Terry McCarl. I seen if Terry McCarl would have won last night, it would have been his 60th win, which would have tied him with Doug Wolfgang for 3rd on the all-times win list. So I think we can all agree Terry's probably going to get that later this year. Pro Sprint. Who won the Pro Sprint?
Matthew Stelzer.
He did? So
yeah.
He's 4 for 4 on the year, huh?
Yes, he
You
is.
know? What can you say? The man's on a roll right now. Hard to beat a guy who's got that much confidence.
I totally agree. And what did you get to see the World of Outlaw highlights at all?
I listened to, I think it would have been Saturday night's A-Main up at Granite City Speedway in Minnesota, and it sounded like one whale of a race between David Gravel and Brad Sweet. I seen Sweet got the win, so. And then Logan Schuchart won Friday night in North Dakota, which that's their 4th win of the year, so they definitely are on a roll right now, and I think it'd be awesome to see those guys win a World Outlaw Championship this year, and they definitely seem like they are locked and loaded and ready for a long summer battle.
Yeah, I totally agree. So tell us more about your weekend experience at Topeka for anyone that hasn't been able to go. Tell them about how cool that is to be there.
Do you want the G-rated version or the adult-rated version?
Let's go with the G.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it was definitely an exciting weekend. Like I said before, NHRA nitro cars are the fastest cars on the planet. 3.5 to 3.8 second runs to up to 330 mile per hour on the speed chart. So if you have never been to an NHRA race, which there are several around the Midwest and obviously around the country, but you definitely need to get yourself out to a NHRA national event. And, that first whiff of nitro that you'll ever get is definitely something you'll never forget. It's an exciting time, as you know, Safe. You went with us last year. You know it's exciting. It's fun. It's definitely different. It's different than the small town short track circle racing environment.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, it was good. Like I said, it was a good weekend. Today was a little rough in a sense of they had a lot of wrecks in qualifying. They had this, as I said, the Pro Mod class. They had a car in the first pass of the first round of eliminations get on its side and flip upside down a couple times down which would be the drag strip, and tore it all to pieces, which is not good at all because them cars are really expensive, as you guys know. And then a couple pairs later, they had 2 cars tangle and hit each other and wreck. So yeah, they actually wreck in drag racing, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think that shocks people.
I'm sure it does. I mean, you don't see it very often, but when it does, it's normally expensive, and it makes your wallet cringe a little bit.
And real quick, the Dirt and Asphalt Podcast wants to send prayers to the family that lost a loved one at Topeka over the weekend on Friday. Someone was cutting a methanol barrel open and it exploded and killed the man. So thoughts and prayers to that family.
Yeah, definitely. Not sure what he was thinking, but I'm not to make light of a difficult situation, but common sense was not on that man's side.
I think it was just a freak accident that happened there. So, Alex, also, let's give your rundown on what you thought about the Wednesday night at the Southern Iowa Speedway.
Well, it was definitely a lot better car count than it was the week before. I believe they had 54 cars in competition compared to 38 from the week before, which was good. And obviously, raising the purse definitely helped that. Hopefully, continue to see the car counts grow. I believe in the Sport Mod class, it was Brayton Carter getting the win, 0-1. Bray led the whole race, looked pretty dominant out front. Logan Anderson got second, and from that, I cannot remember off the top of my head. I don't have any results laying in front of me.
I had them all.
Okay,
yeah,
perfect. Who, I cannot remember, Safe, but who won the Hobby Stocks? Was it Dustin Griffiths?
It was Dustin.
Dustin Griffiths. I think he's won every race there this year, hasn't he?
He has, and Brandon Allison won Sport Compacts.
Yeah.
Told you that was going to happen.
That was probably his first one at Oski.
It was.
I would assume in a Sport Compact.
Yeah, and I told you he was going to win.
Good. Yeah, he did. I didn't listen to you, but you were right.
Yeah, sometimes I am.
Yeah, very rarely, but yeah, sometimes you're right.
So, Alex, you and I are going to have a big weekend next weekend for all the fans to know. We are going to be both nights at Knoxville because it's a very big weekend for them. It's the Brownells Big Gun Bash. The first time this season, the Outlaws are going to be there. So we're super excited.
I believe the 69K car is coming to Knoxville for the first time in who knows how many years.
He is, and we're going to hopefully get to meet Lance. We'll keep you updated on that.
What do you mean if we get to meet Lance? We're going to meet him.
Yeah, we'll meet him eventually there.
There you go.
So we're excited about that.
Yeah, definitely. Going to be a big week. Probably 40 plus 410 cars, and obviously the best cars in the country.
So
You
let's
can't
go
beat
ahead.
that.
We're going to call out Friday night. I know we already did, but let's go back over. And since we have Jarrett here, I'm going to write down who everyone's going to pick for winners for Friday night. So, Alex, who do you have?
Who am I picking to win Friday at Knoxville?
Yes.
I'm going to take Brad Sweet.
Ooh, he takes Sweet. Jarrett, who do you have?
I'd say David Gravel.
That's a good pick, Gravel. And I'm going to go Brian Brown.
Hey, before we move on to Saturday night's predictions, I forgot. You owe me a candy bar and $10 from our the Dream prediction, because my guy finished ahead of your guy.
Oh, he did?
I think so.
We'll
I'm
go
not sure
back
if he
and
really did,
verify
but I
this.
still want a candy bar and $10.
Yeah, I bet you do. Okay, so Saturday night, who are you picking, Big A?
Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to go with Donnie Shots on Saturday.
Shots. Jarrett.
Well, if he doesn't want Brad Sweet, I'll take Brad Sweet.
Darn it. Man, this puts me in a pickle.
Who are you picking, Save?
I don't know.
Why don't you pick the one-track wonder, the 21 car?
No, I already picked him for Friday. I'm going to go Terry McCarl.
Whoa, he's stepping way out of the box.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, sometimes you live on the wild side, and sometimes you get rewarded for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. So, Alex, what else do you want to add?
Well, I was just going to ask Jarrett. Jarrett, obviously there's a lot of people who maybe aren't as familiar with you as they are some other guys around the area. What's your plans for the rest of the year? Where can fans check you out on social media, and where can they catch you at a racetrack?
Yeah, my Facebook page is Jarrett Vandenberg Racing. Try to post as much as we can. Hopefully we'll be at Oski Wednesday, and then Columbus Junction Friday. And then we'll see if we're going to make it to Knoxville to watch, or we're just going to, I don't know what the plan is for Saturday.
Awesome. Are you planning on going to, I believe it's Webster City on Tuesday?
I'm not, but Carter's going to be there. I'll just be at Wednesday night, Oski.
Perfect. Sounds good, man. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Alex. We're going to get you off the phone now, okay?
I want to add just one thing real quick, Safe. I'll let you guys finish out.
All right, here we go.
I want to congratulate local driver Colton Lizzie, the 29 Sport Mod, for getting his first feature win last night at Eldon Raceway for the first time in 2019. So, congrats, Colton and John and Lexi and the group on the win. And that's just my last 2 cents.
All right, yes, and congratulations to the Lizzies. That is awesome. All right, Alex, well, thank you for calling in, telling us about Topeka, giving us some predictions. We can't wait for you to get back.
You fellas, you guys hold down the fort till I get back.
We will. Talk to you later, Big A.
Yeah, 10-4, buddy.
All right.
See you, Jarrett.
See ya.
Be good.
All righty. So that was Alex Wanders. As you can tell, predictions for next weekend at Brownells. Big Gun Bash coming up. Friday night, Alex has Brad Sweet. Jarrett has David Gravel. I am going underdog on this whole deal. I picked Brian Brown. I think Brian has a good chance. He's been doing really good at Knoxville this year. And then Saturday night, we have Alex pick Donnie Shots. Shocker. Jarrett picked Brad Sweet. And I went out of the box and picked Terry McCarl. I think Terry is hungry for that 60th win, and why not when the Outlaws are in town? So what do you think about all this, Jarrett, next weekend with the Big Gun Bash coming to town?
I bet it's going to be a pretty good show. Hope that there's no rain in the forecast, but it seems like...
So you're going to race CJ next week. Tell us about what you think are some of the biggest struggles at CJ Speedway.
Some of the struggles would be, just position, like I said about Oski, but... other than that, I think I do pretty fairly well there, so I haven't really encountered too many struggles.
So, going back and looking at everything we've talked about so far, if you could build a dirt track, what size would you want to build it, and what rule package would you want to run at that track, and why?
I don't know. I raced at Harlem, and it was a banked half mile, and that was actually a really fun track. You carry a lot of speed, and I don't know. I think if I could build a track, it'd be a half mile, but it'd be like banked, kind of like Eldora, and I don't know what road package. I've only raced IMCA, so it'd probably be just IMCA.
See YMCA rules.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's Jarrett's take. If he could build the perfect track. Looking forward, so you're going to be at CJ. You're also going to be at. Oh yes, forgot to thank your dad. You want to say shout out to your dad real quick?
Oh, shout out to my dad.
There we go. There we go. There's a shout out, John, from your son. He loves you very much. So, looking back at everything that we've talked about, your perfect track, everything else, CJ this week for you, Southern Iowa Speedway.
We might make it to Eldon Thursday because they're having the sprint invaders there, sport mods too. We might make it there depending on how Aussie goes and stuff.
So we know Bloomfield's going to run a couple nights. Are you going to make the trek up to Bloomfield, do you think, or are you going to...
It's not in the schedule yet, but I've never raced there, so we might head over there.
And that is a really fun track. If you're in that area, I'd be excited, and I would try to get there. Bloomfield is such a fun track to go and watch out. I've raced it. I've been there to watch a few times as well. Awesome track. Eldon, since they're starting up now, make sure you get to Eldon. Fun little half-mile track. A lot of action always. Columbus Junction, awesome track. We know that Mason City is getting ready to reopen. They are becoming a 3/8 mile. So they've skimmed her down to a 3/8. Obviously, Knoxville, which is going to be huge. Again, the World of Outlaws are going to be there Friday and Saturday. It's a 2-day show called the Brownell Big Gun Bash. First time that the Outlaws will be here before August when we have the Nationals come to town, who just got a new sponsor, which is NOS Energy Drinks, which is the Outlaws' main sponsor. They are going to sponsor from now on. So congratulations to NOS on picking that up. Get ready to follow that at hashtag Knoxville Nationals is what the hashtag is. So we're excited that Knoxville has been able to get another great sponsor. I think that track's very blessed. National's a big deal. Yeah, definitely check out the Sprint Invaders at Eldon. It's been a long time since they've been there, and everyone says it's the best show is when they go to Eldon. I don't know what it is about that track and those cars, but it's always super good. So make sure you go check Eldon out. And then this weekend, Friday, Saturday, go to Knoxville. You can get 3 days full of sprint car racing super close to Oski. None of them are that far of a drive. I think they're about the same either way. So check them out. Check Jarrett out, by the way. Again, Jarrett Vandenberg Racing on Facebook. I know that because I started the page. Yeah, Knoxville again. It's going to be awesome having Lance DeWeese there. Such a long time. And just having the Outlaws there in general. They always put on a heck of a show. They're so much fun to watch when they go and compete at any track. So if there's any ever a race near you and you see the World of Outlaw guys are there, go check it out. Yeah, just go check out your local track, whether it's Webster City, Mason City, Eldon, Bloomfield, Southern Iowa Speedway, Knoxville Raceway. You know, if you have an asphalt track, go check them out. Eddyville, when Eddyville runs, you know, they have their Night of Fire coming up. That's a really cool event, so make sure you go check that out. Just any racing, because the tracks need fans to be able to stay open. We've had 4 tracks close within, weeks of each other. It's a really sad sight to see, and we don't want to have that happen. So get out there, support your local track, get in the seats, go and watch. I want to thank all of you fans that are here watching us just babble for the amount of time that we do. I want to thank Jarrett personally for coming onto the show tonight and filling in for Alex. It's great that we can help drivers out. If you're a driver and you're interested in coming on, please feel free to either, if you see me, just say, hey, either my son races or I race. Do you mind if we call in or something? Just set it up with me. Call me, text me, inbox me on here. I don't care how you get a hold of me, really. Just get a hold of me. Again, thank you to Jarrett for taking time out of his night to come on here. We like to support our local drivers, and we're here to support you, Jarrett. So thank you so much for coming on. What do you want to tell the fans here right now?
I'll just look out for the 22V. Hopefully be in victory lane soon.
We are hoping he will be in victory lane very soon. All right, so that's all we have tonight on the Dirt and Asphalt Podcast. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and always keep it clean and keep it green.